go. Welcome to the HTML lesson review number 5. That being said, I'm going to speak in my normal voice. Hey folks, how you doing? For those of you intrepid coders who are staying with the HTML cause, this is lesson 5, where we start to get into actually some of the interesting stuff that HTML can do. In fact, we are going to code some CSS today. Tell your mom, tell your dad, get them around the monitor, and have them watch this too. I'm sure they'll be excited. Alright, enough of my yapping, let's get to work. So, what is CSS, you might ask? Well, I will have to tell you that it is a way of coding that allows you to customize your web page in a way that probably you would never imagine you'd be able to do. Now, I want you to get an idea of what CSS can do in the long run by going to this website. It's the CSS Zen Garden. Let me get this beauty loaded up here. It's actually csszengarden.com. And this is a site that shows you basically the same information formatted differently using, of course, well-designed graphics, but then being implemented by CSS. So let's take a gander at this to get an idea of the variety of things that you can do. So here's one I'm just clicking on that I found. Check that out. Oh, what are they doing in the background there? Maybe I should move on. Sorry, I just noticed that. So, I mean, this is pretty... Now, again, same content. If you were to actually read the actual text here, you'd find that this is all the same stuff on every single page. But the way it is deployed, my friend, ha ha ha, quite different. And you can peruse these to your heart's content and just get an idea of what can be done. We are not going to get as involved as this. I think probably what we could be able to do once you finish these lessons is at least have an idea where you could head to become as proficient and expert as these folks are. Really, just all these different styles. Pretty crazy stuff. Okay, so little steps at a time, my friends. Little steps at a time. So right now, the idea here is that CSS can do things that regular HTML cannot do. In addition to that, the way that you design your setup can be saved in one document. It's called a style sheet. In fact, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. So you can save all these different styles that you want to implement in one document that is separate from your HTML documents, and you simply write the formatting code that implements those styles in your HTML document. Hope that makes a little sense, and if it doesn't, as we get to do this, I think it will make more and more sense. Now, I've said that there are such things as style sheets. Well, heck, we're not going to make any today. So maybe your parents can go now, and we can get on with actually writing code that employs some of the neat little things that CSS can do and show you 2 ways that it can be implemented in its kind of baby step, infancy. So, that being mentioned, let's go and start the document. So, here we go. DOCTYPE. Oh, all caps. I like all caps for this. CTYPE. Okay. And I did not eat yet, and it is 6:31. So if I start getting a little off with my typing, it's because I have a Cobb salad waiting for me. And it's screaming my name. I don't know if you can hear it. It's very faint. Yep, that's it. And so, you know, there's just so much I can do before I actually pass out. But I think we'll be able to get this done, kids. Yes, I think we can. So let's get going. BODY. So now, right off the bat, this type of CSS that I'm going to be showing you is called inline CSS. So this is code that I'm going to write that implements some of the cool tricks that CSS can do. inline. In other words, as I write the code, which is the way that we format things in HTML. Like if I want something to be bold, I write B. If I want something to have green text, I tell it, green text, you do that right now. So right now we have the body, and right off the bat we have something new, an attribute called style. Ooh. And equals. See, I'm telling you, this is the Cobb salad distracting me. I can't type. And then background dash color, a colon. We haven't seen that in a while. And there we go. Body style equals background dash color colon yellow. Well, let's think about that for a second before we move on. First of all, we're setting up the body of the document. We know that. Notice I skipped writing the head and all that kind of stuff. We can have the head in there and the title and all that kind of stuff, but I wanted to cut to the chase. You're going to see the head in the next document, so you don't worry, we haven't abandoned it. Body style equals, in quotes, background dash color colon yellow. So, this is obvious. We're setting the background color for the document with that particular code, and then after the colon, the color. Actually, I'm making a big deal out of this. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Now, whenever we finish writing the code for CSS, we end each little nugget of formatting with a semicolon, and then this whole nugget gets put into quotes right there. There's a quote and there's a quote. And then we end the tag. Let's move on, shall I? I digress. Now, we're going to set up an H2, a heading 2. Now, we know heading 2, right? We love it and have used it to great effect. Well, we're going to mess with it. H2 style equals, see, I can't type. Run, Cobb salad. Okay, now here we go. Background. Now, what is this? What is a background color for text? What are we talking about here? Yes, my friends, you can set up a background color for text as it is typed. So now, and you'll see what it looks like in a second. See, I can't type. This is crazy. Here we go. Background color is red. Now, I'm not done. There's more. A little nugget of information has been finished, though, so now I write color, colon, pink. So now, and then we end the quote. So what I've done, let's actually make some text. This is a paragraph. No, this is a heading. What am I saying? This is a heading. Whose, is it whose like that? Yeah, whose text is pink and background is red. So here we go, H2. We end the H2. So this heading to text, this text here is going to be pink with a red background. Gorgeous. Let's move on. Did you get the syntax, how this all works? And then we're just going to do a real quick paragraph P, but we're going to add a style to it. S-T-Y-L-E, then equals, and then in quotes, background dash a color. Yes, little ones, dash color. Today, I feel like green. And then semicolon, color, colon, orange. Yeehaw. What a cornucopia of colors we have. And then we're going to type, this is a paragraph. End the P, and the paragraph. And then we're going to end the body. That's right, we're going to end the body right here. And then the HTML, HTML. Let's check everything. I'm going to put spaces in. I like to do that, even though you theoretically could write all of your HTML in one big line. Okay, so body, style, background, dash color, yellow, end that with a semicolon. Ooh, what did I forget? Nope. I need to put semicolons here. I'm a bad boy. Semicolon there, too. That's crucial. You leave that out, my friend, in a huge pile of text, and you're going to be scratching your head why things aren't working. So I'm glad I put that in. So do you get what I did there at the end of each of these little nuggets of glory? We put in a semicolon at the end. So we've set up the background color for red, semicolon. And then we set up the color for the text, pink, semicolon. I yammer on. Let's see what this looks like. Save as HTML inline.html. Or no, CSS inline. Okay, save. Okay, I'm going to save this to my desktop. There it is. So, pink text, yellow background, red background for the heading 2, and green background for the background for the orange text of the paragraph. Rob, Cobb, salad. Okay, I'm coming. Hold on. All right, so let's move on. Here's another way to do it. I'm going to take this and clear it out, and I'll save it as something else later on. Here we go. Now, we're going to do CSS, where all of the encoding for the different types of headings and paragraphs can be stored inside the head of the document, and it will be referenced when you write code that uses that tag. So you don't have to write all that style stuff every time you write the H2 or the H3 or the paragraph. So we'll look up into the head and say, oh, he mentioned H2. Well, he says, now let's see what he asked for. He wants a blue background with a gray color text. Okay, we'll do that. Thank you. Let's see what that looks like, shall we? Capital DOCTYPE, HTML, and lowercase HTML. I don't really need to worry about this, but I'm superstitious. There we go. Then we start the HTML, and now we're going to start the head, and we're going to do the title, and the title is CSS. What are we calling this? Header. And end the title. Now we type a new tag. This is not an attribute. This is a tag. Style. And this tells us, or the HTML or the browser, that what's going to follow are the style settings for the following tags. H1. And now we have a new thing. It's the curly bracket. There you go. Maybe you should get your parents back in here again. I think they'll love to see that. Color, red. That means the text color for H1 is going to be red. Background dash color colon orange. I know your mind's eye is already imagining how beautiful this. And then we end the curly bracket. By the way, the curly bracket is over on the right-hand side. If you hit Shift, the one on the left-hand side is next to the letter P, and the one that goes on the right-hand side is the one immediately to the right of the one I just mentioned. Let's move on. H2. Oh, let's see. Our H2s will have a color of green and a background. It shall be pronounced for hereafter as yellow. No, gray. Sorry. Oh, my head exploded. Gray. There we go. Oh, curly bracket. Oh, curly bracket, you are so beautiful. And then paragraph. And zippity-doo-dah, here we go. Color. I can't type when I got a Cobb salad on my mind. Glenn Campbell, I think, made that popular. Background. Right. The color. Yellow. So what did I do here? See, I talked through that one because I was thinking through the salad. Thinking through the salad? I think through the salad, and with it comes a glorious thought. So here we go. H1. Anytime I type H1 as a tag, the text color is going to be red, and the background color is going to be orange. Semicolon, don't forget me. H2. Anytime I do that tag, the color of the text will be green, Ooh, I made that a colon. See, I'm glad I checked. And you know, computers don't understand. You know, if you're distracted, sometimes you make mistakes. No, it will not forgive you. Back, and say a background. And I yell at my students for doing that. Look, I just did that. Color is gray. And then whenever I do a paragraph tag, the text color is going to be green, and the background color is going to be yellow. Get your sunglasses. Now, we have to end what tag? I'll wait 2 seconds. 1001, 1002. If you answered style, then you get a green star. I don't know why green, but gaudy. What am I thinking of? Spanish artists. Here we go. Now, look it up. It's gaudy, actually. H1. Do I need to write anything else to format this? No, other than all heading 1 text will be red and its background will be orange. H1. Doop. Just wait till you see this. It's really quite remarkable. Then H2. All heading 2 text will be green and the background will be gray. Zippity-doo-dah and the H2, don't you know? And then paragraph. All text in paragraphs will be green and the background will be yellow. Did I make a mistake? Yes, I changed something from my original, and I am upset immeasurably, so I'm going to fix that. I want this color to be blue because I like blue. Yes, I do. That means when I describe that, it's got to be blue here. Okay. So, believe it or not, see, if you're writing a huge web page and you have a lot of H1s and a lot of H2s and a lot of paragraphs and they all want them to look like that, just imagine the amount of time that you have saved yourself by just designing that up inside the header or the head using this code. Actually, this code right here. Instead of having to type that every time, listen, folks, you could be eating your Cobb salad right now if you use this. Now, to extrapolate before we see the beautiful page that we've just typed, although let's save it now. Remember, don't save it as CSS inline. Let's save as CSS header. Sounds like a ship. I am the captain of the CSS header, and we are bound for adventure. Okay, hold on. .html. We're not going to look at it yet. I just wanted to clarify something, or explain something. So what happens with a cascading style sheet page or style sheet is that all this kind of stuff is in its own sheet. And the pages that you write, which would be all this boring HTML stuff, will reference that sheet. In fact, there's going to be code up at the top of your document that says, look to this sheet to find out how to format all these tags. So your code for your actual web pages may, for the most part, look very similar to stuff that you've already written before. But because you've made a cascading style sheet, the style sheet that it references that has all this cool formatting stuff in it, and trust me, there's a heck of a lot more, you will find that you end up with a beautiful page, as we've seen at the Zen Garden. All right, so let's see this page now. CSS header. Boom. All right. H1, orange background with red text. H2, gray background with blue text, and paragraph is yellow background with green text. That's it. I think I've said enough. Wait, listen. Cobb Yeah, my Cobb salad is about to expire. I need to take care of it. So thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
My dog, she is everything. I just long to see my little Doge. He is made of love and sky. When he caught my eye, I fell